On tonight's Wales at 6, a setback for the family of Nathan Osman as Spanish police draw their own conclusions on his Benidorm death. But they won't give up hope.
There's got to be someone out there that can help in any way to get answers for us.
Also tonight, Reform's big reveal. It's curtain up on the candidate of choice to contest the Caerphilly by-election. Plus an unveiling of a different kind in the sporting world. Any guesses at which record-breaking athlete's being honoured here for always going the distance?
And from a sports star to stars on the red carpet, celebrities are aplenty here tonight. But the Child of Wales Awards will be celebrating those special unsung heroes. Join me live later.
Hello, good evening to you. A Pontypridd family whose son died in Benidorm say they can't accept the conclusion of the Spanish police. 30-year-old Nathan Osman died in September last year after being found at the foot of a remote cliff near the tourist hotspot. Spanish police had been considering if there'd been any foul play in Mr. Osman's death, but have now concluded it was due to suicide or was accidental. Nathan's brother says he's angry at the police conclusions and says there are gaps in their investigation. Ness Jenkins has tonight's top story.
It's been 12 months since Nathan Osman was last seen in Benidorm. 7 hours after these images, his body was found at the bottom of this cliff on the outskirts of the city, prompting a murder investigation by the Spanish police. For his family back home in Pontypridd, the uncertainty over what happened to Nathan has made the past year unbearable.
We're going through the worst experience any family could go through.
It's still very raw, I'm sure.
Yes.
Every day is a struggle. Every morning you wake up and you think, oh, it is true. And he just didn't deserve it. He's been robbed of his life.
In May, Nathan's brother Lee travelled to Benidorm to retrace Nathan's final steps and to put pressure on the Spanish police for an update in the investigation. But since coming home, they've received the update they dreaded, a police report stating that Nathan's death was due to suicide or accidental.
How do you feel about that conclusion by the Spanish police?
We're just bitterly frustrated and angry. We just feel beat up, all of us. And
because this is a setback.
Oh, it's massive, yeah. But, you know, what keeps us continuing with the belief, and there's a little bit of belief there still, and there's got to be someone out there that can help to get answers for us.
The Spanish police said they can't make any statements relating to the case regarding specific procedures or protocols. Despite the knock to their efforts, the Osman family have now launched a petition in Nathan's memory to provide more support for those who lose loved ones overseas.
We didn't know where to start, who to turn to. So what we are trying to get from this petition is structure put in place for families abroad who find themselves in the same position as ourselves, that they've got support legally, you know, financially. It's the emotional support.
It's too late for us now, it's too late for Nathan. But what I want him to be the voice of other people, to help him.
With more than 10,000 people backing their petition, the Osmans are hoping for change and for justice after a year of heartbreak.
And Nest is here now in the studio. You've followed the family to Benidorm in their search for answers. How significant do you feel this latest update is for them?
Well, Andrea, the family are obviously disappointed with this latest update from the police, as this is the second time they've received this outcome, that Nathan's death was either accidental or due to suicide. But the Osmans feel there's still more work to be done, more to investigate in this case. For example, they say his wallet went missing when his body was found, and that his debit card was used the day after he died, and they still don't know who made those transactions. It's worth noting as well that the Spanish police have told us that the investigation is still open, so anyone can still contact them if they have any new information or evidence, and because of that, they can't comment further on the case to us. But on the anniversary of Nathan's death this September, the family still feel in the dark as to what happened to him and are now calling for change to support others.
Well, an ongoing case, an ongoing story, and you can see more on that on Wales This Week tonight here on ITV1 at 7 o'clock. Elsewhere, St David's Hall is set to reopen after Cardiff Council today announced it has entered into an agreement with Academy Music Group to take over the running of the site. The historic venue, which is known as the National Concert Hall of Wales, has been closed since September 2023 after wrack was found in the building's roof. Academy Music Group will now invest in remedial works. A reopening date has yet to be announced. A formal consultation with staff at Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water is underway after yesterday's announcement of a restructure that could cut 500 jobs. The company says it will reduce numbers by 12% from its current 4,000 workers. Dŵr Cymru says it's a result of changes in regulatory requirements and in customers' expectations. Reform leader Nigel Farage arrived in Caerphilly today to launch their campaign for the upcoming by-election, declaring his party's in it to win it. Reform UK have picked a party staffer to contest the seat, but questions over who's leading the party in Wales remain unanswered. Mike Griffiths was there and sends this report.
Raising the shutters of their new campaign office and what Reform hope will be a new era in Welsh politics. Their candidate for the by-election is the party's former head of communications in Wales.
We're one of the largest parties now within the United Kingdom. We've got grassroots apply-in here in Wales. I've been a part of the selection process for the Senedd going forward. It's been a very thorough and gruelling process, but I think the best candidates will come forward from that.
Today might have been about unveiling him, but it was Reform's leader who supporters had also turned out to see. Nigel Farage says a win here would be a strong indication of success in next year's Welsh general election.
Everything in Wales is failing. There is no debate about that. There is no argument about that. Wherever you look, whether it's education, whether it's health delivery, whether it's investment, whether it's unemployment rates, it doesn't matter where you look. Wales is failing.
This is a party that has grown quickly, but critics have questioned who will lead Reform in Wales.
There is no leader for Reform in Wales. Why not, and when will you choose one?
This is the work in progress. I mean, this time, last year, at the time of the general election, we didn't have any branches in Wales. And now we're forming together, we're getting busy, we're winning by-elections, we're going up in the polls, we're attracting new talent, and we will have a leader in Wales as we go into those elections next May. Haven't chosen yet. We're a work in progress. We're a party that's growing very rapidly, attracting new talent all the time.
Both Plaid Cymru and Labour are confident this is a seat they can win. The result could be an interesting indication of what lies ahead. Mike Griffiths, ITV News in Caerphilly.
And if you want in-depth analysis on the campaign in Caerphilly and some of our other journalism too, subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Here's how. Just scan the QR code on your screen now where you can sign up on Substack. You only have to do it once, and after that we'll automatically email you our weekly newsletter where you can read more in-depth analysis and insight from our reporters into the biggest stories around Wales. It's completely free to sign up, and you can read it on your phone and tablet too. Just scan the QR code to sign up, or if you're already on Substack, search ITV Wales. Elsewhere this evening, plans to make it easier for terminally ill people to end their own lives will blur the line between assisted dying and euthanasia. That was the verdict of Baroness Tanni Gray-Thompson as the controversial legislation was debated in the House of Lords today. The Welsh peer has been a long-standing critic of the plan, which is still potentially set to make its way into law. With more, our health reporter Katie Fenton is in our newsroom for us with the latest on this. So Katie, what else was said?
Well, Andrea, this was the first chance for the House of Lords to weigh in on the bill, with a record number of around 190 peers asking to speak. This, of course, coming after MPs voted in favour of it back in June. Now, those who support it would say the House of Lords should respect that vote, but others say it's flawed, including, as you say, Welsh Paralympian Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson, who today raised issues around accessibility of information, safeguards against coercion and the blurring of boundaries.
Clause 5, subclause 4 requires the provision of adjustments for language and literacy barriers, but there is no requirement for modified information for those with learning disabilities or additional needs. Additionally, the doctor only has to ascertain that the person has been coerced. But how? It's not in the bill. Clause 25, subclause 8, allows the coordinating doctor to assist the person to ingest or otherwise self-administer the substance. This blurs the line between assisted dying and euthanasia.
And Katie, remind us where we are now with this legislation.
Well, a bill has to go through several stages before it can become law. This was the first of a two-day debate, and if the Lords decide they're unhappy with any aspect of the bill, they can send it back to the Commons with amendments for MPs to then debate. So there can be a lot of back and forth, but there was plenty of support in the Lords today too.
I want that choice for myself. I would have wanted that choice for those close to me whom I have seen die in terrible agony. I want it for the 650 terminally ill individuals who take their own lives each year, for the thousands of terminally ill who attempt suicide each year.
Now, this law applies to England and Wales, but the Senedd will need to agree to some elements of the bill that fall under devolved health powers. And last year, Senedd members voted against the whole concept. So even after it's been through every stage in Westminster, we are likely, Andrea, to see this debate continue in Cardiff Bay.
OK, Katie, with that update from the newsroom, thank you. Thanks very much for being with us. There's more to come for you on the programme this evening, including the all-important weekend weather forecast, though I'm not sure it's what we all want to hear.
Absolutely, yes. Lively would be one way of putting it. Heavy rain and strong winds are coming. Although I have a feeling it'll take more than a spot of rough weather to put a dampener on things there on the red carpet this evening, Lewis.
Yes, indeed, Ruth. We're at a very special event that is celebrating those extraordinary unsung heroes. I'll see you soon.
Lewis and Ruth both coming up shortly. First, though, one of Wales's most successful long-distance athletes was honoured today for his achievements in the sport. Steve Jones held the British marathon record for over 30 years, and he won a host of events, including the London, New York and Chicago marathons. Today, a statue has been unveiled in his hometown of Ebbw from where our sports reporter Matt Southcombe joins us now. Matt, good evening to you. He may not be a household name for everyone, but his contribution to the sport's a really significant one, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, Andrea. He may not be a name that was on the tip of the tongue of many Welsh supporters, but his achievements do command respect. He won multiple marathons all over the world, and he picked up a fair few records along the way. He came from humble beginnings, but he took his talent to the world, and now he has been recognised in his hometown. There was a time when nobody on the planet ran long distances faster than Steve Jones. In 1984, he won the Chicago Marathon in world record time. It was the first of 5 marathon successes. And today he was honoured in his hometown of Ebbw.
It's surreal, you know, it's an incredible tribute, I think, to the hard work and the results I got through my running career. You know, I could get emotional about it, and I hope it inspires the kids now. You know, if they're going in there for a swim or something, they can look at Jonesy on the brick. Oh, that could be me one day. You know.
Jones also competed in the 10,000 metres, showing just as much grit on the track as he did on the road. It was a career that took him all around the world, but this was always his home. A point driven home by former Labour leader Michael Foot during a homecoming in 1984.
he stood up and made a speech, and he made everybody aware that every time Steve Jones put on a racing shoe, spike, cross-country shoe, and raced, I was representing Ebbw Vale. You know, and that's always stuck with me. You know, every step I took, you know, every race I competed in, I was representing Ebbw Vale.
All the runners here, except for Bootsy, if you want to, you can come around and have a look at the back, and you'll recognise me.
A quip delivered with a smile, but the reality was that when Jones started running, few could catch him.
You know, he was as hard as nails. And I love the fact that he's from Ebbw, and this is was virtually the world's centre of steel making, and this guy's made of steel, and now he's literally made of steel. So it's kind of a nice analogy there, you know, the guy who was as tough as steel to race against, and he was. And the things he achieved, to get to the peak and break the world record, it'd be the fastest ever. And there's 1 billion runners on the planet now, so if you're a world record holder, you're pretty special.
Jones's career started almost by accident when he took up running as a teenager during his time with the Air Cadets.
So I went down, excelled beyond anybody's belief. I was smoking, I was drinking, I was doing all sorts of young lad stuff, you know, as a 13-year-old. I wasn't an academic, I wasn't particularly good at anything. I'm not even sure if anybody liked me, you know, at that age, you're not sure.
But today he can be in no doubt, as his community turned up to celebrate a quietly unheralded legend of Welsh sport.
Well, his career beautifully summed up there, Matt, and great to hear from the man himself. But in terms of his legacy, it's a glittering record, and it puts him up there with the very best.
Yes, absolutely, Andrea. And it's also worth noting as well that his British record stood for over 30 years and wasn't broken until a certain Mo Farah entered the scene. Although I was reminded multiple times today that it took Mo Farah 2 attempts to break that record. And just picking up on something Tim Hutchins said in my piece there, it was originally planned that this would be a bronze statue. It was driven through by somebody called Leah Hearn from the local running club and friend of Steve Jones, but he decided that, seeing as we are currently stood exactly where the steelworks once were here in Ebbw Vale, that the statue itself should be made of steel. Now, Steve Jones currently resides in Colorado in America, but having been recognised here today, he will always stand proudly right here in Ebbw Vale.
His legacy now sealed in that statue. Matt, thank you. Now, a reminder of tonight's top story for you. A Pontypridd family whose son died in Benidorm say they can't accept the conclusion of the Spanish police. 30-year-old Nathan Osman died in September last year after being found at the foot of a remote cliff. Spanish police had been considering if there'd been any foul play in his death, but have now concluded it was due to suicide or accidental. Still to come on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson is detained. We have the latest on the shooting of Charlie Kirk. A Cabinet Minister says Peter Mandelson would never have been appointed if the Prime Minister knew the extent of his link to Jeffrey Epstein. And Prince Harry's surprise visit to Kyiv after getting permission from the UK government and his wife, Meghan. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Charlene with you with those stories in just a little while. Here, though, the achievements of some remarkable young people are being recognised tonight at the Child of Wales Awards. From bravery to fundraising, I hope the event will shine a light on some inspirational youngsters and their stories. In Swansea for us this evening is our reporter Lewis Rhys-Jones. Good evening, Lewis. These awards really growing, aren't they, in their significance?
Oh, for sure, Andrea. Good evening to you too. We're now in the 4th year of the Child of Wales Awards, which have settled here in the Swansea Arena by now, and they do really celebrate those unsung heroes, as we've been mentioning. But one of the founder, Blanche, is with us this evening. Blanche, I can imagine it's a busy time all year round getting ready for every event, but how are you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's a fabulous event. It's wonderful for all of the community to be part of this event. We get to hear inspirational stories of young people doing incredible things in Wales, and what can be better than that?
Absolutely. And why did you want to found and set up an event of this kind in Wales? Was it important for you that you recognise Welsh children specifically?
Yeah, it was really important because I think Wales tends to get overlooked as a country, and we kind of maybe concentrate more on Britain for some of the events that happen celebrating young heroes and heroes. And our first nominations, the first year when the nominations came in, we literally had hundreds. And when you read the stories, you then realise that actually we've got to do something about this, because we have some incredible children, incredible young people, and that content just isn't really out there.
Absolutely, well, they will be certainly shone in the light tonight. Thank you very much. And as you can see, fresh off a success of the NTAs and Gavin, Stacey, Melanie Walters, lovely to see you. I've got to ask you, how does it feel after coming back from London to be back in Swansea tonight?
I am so pleased that I managed to get back here for tonight. This is such an amazing evening. It's a wonderful charity, wonderful, and Blanche is so amazing as well. And I always feel very, very humbled when I come to this event. It is a superb event.
Well,
so pleased to be here.
Celebrate. Thank you very much,
Thank
Melanie.
you.
And we've got to show you one of the people up for an award tonight, Luciano. We have met before, I know, but how are you feeling and what are you up for tonight?
I'm up for the Young Performer Award.
What have you been doing?
So I sing in all the care homes and the hospices.
That's fantastic. You know, in the care homes, why do you enjoy doing it?
I just love making people happy and seeing them smile.
That's fantastic. You must be proud as well.
We are so proud of him, like for everything that he does, for everything that he is, like his determination, and just being here tonight is such an honour, and it's just very emotional, like it's just lovely.
It will be an emotional night. Well, thank you very much to you all. And well, I've got to hand back to you now, Andrea, but it's going to be a fantastic evening for sure, shining a light on all those people in need and deserve recognition.
Lewis, have a lovely evening. Luciano there. We're very excited for him and all the nominees tonight. Not much though, Ruth, to celebrate on the weather, not to want to bring a downer on things.
No,
but...
No, I don't blame you actually. Yeah, some pretty eventful weather to come over the next few days. I'm really sorry. Although for some, the power of the elements and nature can be a real source of inspiration. Artist Cheryl Beer says the natural world has helped her overcome huge challenges since losing her hearing. And she now hopes to give nature a voice through her art, which can be found at the National Botanic Garden of Wales.
I'm here at a place where nature is nurtured. Today I'm meeting someone who's been working on part of a unique project, tapping into some of our other senses.
I've been a musician literally all of my life, Jess, and then about 8 years ago I came back from touring and I just woke up in the morning and had hearing loss. And I remember thinking, why have the birds stopped singing? I had these wonderful hearing aids and I thought, could they be the art itself? Spectral frequency is what's used in a hearing test. So they play you a sound, you say whether or not you can hear it, and a graph comes out showing you. And when I looked at the diagram and down the side it was showing me the pitch of each of the sounds. Well, where there's pitch, there's notes. Where there's notes, there's music.
Yeah. With her repurposed technology, Cheryl spent a year in the rainforest of Wales, capturing the sound and turning it into music.
Gosh, that was an amazing year. So it was the very voice of the rainforest itself, which was Canacoid, Song of the Trees, Rainforest Symphony.
God, in losing something, you've almost given something a voice.
Gained,
yes.
I think, as well. And when we think of hearing loss, we think of the term loss.
Yeah.
But actually look at what
you've gained.
Yeah, my life is so much more deep and rich.
Yeah.
It's not as broad, but it's far deeper and far more rich.
Artist Cheryl talking to our reporter Jess Hope-Clayton there. And there's more on the arts across Wales on Backstage. That's this Sunday at 6 o'clock right here on ITV 1 Wales. And I can assure you, actually, the weather is going to be perfect for staying in and watching the telly on Sunday because it is shaping up to be a rather eventful weekend. That's the word I used earlier. I think eventful is probably the nicest way of putting it. Unsettled is another way of putting it. It is going to be thoroughly unsettled through this weekend and actually, unfortunately, into much of next week too. We can expect blustery showers, and some of these showers, I'm putting it nicely, will be on the heavy side, just merging into longer spells of rain. And It feels as if the rain's not going anywhere, does it? And just to then compound matters, we're also going to see some very strong winds too. Now, so much so that the Met Office has issued a yellow weather warning to be aware of those very strong winds. And this runs from Sunday evening right the way through into Monday evening. And we could see gusts of 70, even 80 miles an hour, most likely around coastal areas and over higher ground, the hills and mountains. But if you are setting off for the morning commute on Monday, it might be worth checking. The Prince of Wales Bridge, for example, may well be affected. So a lot of weather to come over the next few days.
Today's forecast, blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Yeah, just be careful on the roads out there at the moment. It's really not pleasant. We've got more heavy thundery downpours working their way northwards and eastwards over the next few hours, accompanied all the while by quite a keen breeze. Now, the good news is the heaviest of the rain will clear by the early hours of tomorrow morning, perhaps a few showers remaining. Temperatures hovering at around 9 or 10 in more sheltered spots, 12 the general low, so slightly milder than it was last night. But it's not going to be a pleasant start to your weekend by any means, I'm really sorry. Further blustery winds and further showers will start to work their way in. Some rumbles of thunder, maybe some hail thrown in. But we could see some breaks in the cloud, allowing a little bit of sunshine too. So it's going to be one of those days. If you see some sunshine, it won't feel too bad. Highs of around 15 or 16, but you'll certainly know all about those downpours, and it's going to be very hit and miss. If you're making plans for Saturday night, again, no surprises. It's not going to be pleasant with further showers working their way in. And again, it will still be breezy as well. But you can see behind me, just be careful. There is a band of very heavy rain that will start to work its way in during the early hours of Sunday morning. It will largely park itself across Wales during Sunday. And of course, we do have those weather warnings for those very strong winds that come into force through Sunday evening and run right the way through until Monday evening. And as I've been saying, we could see some potentially damaging and disruptive winds, particularly around coastal areas, some high waves. So just be careful, and over the hills and mountains too. So your general outlook is, well, generally unsettled, not particularly pleasant. It will be an unsettled start to Monday. Tuesday, a window of opportunity, possibly shaping up to be the one dry day of next week.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
One dry day, there you go. Don't say I don't give you anything. I'm all heart.
Spoiling us.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. And that's all for now. Katie Fenton will be back with the late update. But from all of us here on the Wales at 6 team, try and stay indoors and avoid that weather. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.